DrumGod on the beat.
What's the big plans? Like, what do you got coming up? It's album time?
It's definitely album time. It's album mode right now.
Yeah.
We've really been working. We were working on another project that's upcoming. And we just really been focused on that a lot lately, but we really just now jumping into this album really just now. So we like in, I want to say square one, but we somewhere close to there. So
Most definitely, but yeah, man, everyone knows what's going on. We're coming off one of the craziest songs. I think this could be Gotti was saying this the start of the summer, the start of the CMG summer. You know, Youngsta album dropped last week, and then the first single that really set it off, that Kodak and Bag just dropped, produced by the one and only Mr. DrumGod. But I'm excited to get into it, hear the whole story, see how it's going. Like you said, a lot of 6 hour studio sessions at the very least. We're working on 6 months straight, going crazy. We're gonna get into it all. Signed into Bag at what, 14?
14 and a half. I was finna turn 15.
Crazy.
I was finna turn 15, yeah. I was like 2 months before 15.
Too crazy, but you know what it is. The producer room, powered by the one and only producer culture. We got the big goat, the youngest goat, DrumGod in the building. What's going on?
Go. What you got going? Carl always up to something, bro. Carl always up to something. I always up to something, bro. You gotta tell me something, Carl. You gotta tell me something right now.
Trying to have as much motion as possible.
That's how we trying to do. That's how 2022 about.
Most definitely. I'm ready to get the summer started, get the summer kicked off. But yeah, bro, I mean, like you said, you really been with bro like all the time, especially as of late. Like, what's it like just moving around and working with such a big artist? I'm sure you're getting hit up by so many different people that want to get to him, or producers trying to land something with him. Like, what's it like just kind of like moving like that?
I mean, it's like a blessing and a curse. I mean, yeah, it's like a blessing and a curse. It's more of a blessing though, because I mean these life experiences, like going everywhere. It's a everywhere. Every city we go to, it's a different studio. It's a different sound. It's a different vibe. It may be different people. It may be a whole different culture. Like, it's just like, I look at them as experiences for, like, just being able to go around and move around, bro, meet different producers, meet different A&Rs, meet different, everybody who, if you're around Bag, you got to be important in some form. So it's always a blessing to be around it, for sure.
Yeah. So what was it like? I mean, I think a lot of us heard the the short version of kind of how it all got kicked off in that Sway in the Morning interview that Baghead did. You know, just to sum up, essentially he, Sway asks about how he started signing some producers, whatever. Sway specifically asked about DrumGod, who at the time was 15, how that kind of clicked and came together. And I mean, it's a really cool story because it just goes to show, like, you're always on stage. People are really paying attention more so than you think. And, he was just saying you were sending some crazy stuff through to his email. And I mean, he was rocking with it, and it was always fresh and something new. And, he kind of discovered you were one of those ones right away. But I mean, from your perspective, like, how do you get on his radar? And then how do you kind of like end up, becoming part of the team on an official note?
I mean, it's really a blessing for it's really all a blessing for. I mean, because it was nothing really it was nothing that was supposed to just instantly connect. Like, it was no real ties to anything. I didn't know anybody from him or anybody of him. He didn't know me. Like, I was from Cleveland. Memphis, like, so, like, it was really just a blessing when he came and found me and just started moving me around. Like, he instantly started moving me around. I think I went to Memphis for a couple of days. We was working on some shit. Then we had went to LA for like 2 weeks. We was working on some shit like instantly. Like we just had an instant like connection. He always treated me like a little brother. That's how he always looked at me. That's how he always treated me. To this day, like might fuck around and smack me in the head or something. Never know.
Man, it's too crazy. But how does I guess when it starts getting kind of like more serious, like what's kind of like some of that process like? Like what are you thinking at the time? You know, how long are you guys working before it, you know, it might be like some paperwork involved or whatever? Like how are you kind of maneuvering? Like what's kind of like the play by play to get into that point where, you know, you're really officially part of the team?
Uh, I mean, the business always been good. I mean, they always made sure business was taken care of prior to release, and um, just business wise, everything was well. Uh, musically, just walking into the studio with an open mind and just just letting all my creativeness just really just flow, but at the same time remembering who I'm working with. So it's like letting my creativeness flow to extent, you know. So that's really how I walk in every studio session, especially with Bag. Like, you know, I always try to take him out the box when he a very open minded person, especially when it comes to music. He listen to everything. Like he done pulled up on me listening to just some shit y'all wouldn't believe. Like so, I always come to him with different ideas or different vibes. He come to me with different vibes. We come together like we got some crazy records that we came together and like put both our vibes together, and the shit just came out perfect. Like that's just how we work, and it just came so organically. Like it was never forced.
Yeah. And it's such a it feels like it's such a good like almost seamless fit, your style, his style, you know, so complementary. It's almost like it feels like you were almost like making stuff for him the whole time, whether you knew it or not. But I guess like, you know, who or what is like the inspiration behind your beats, especially when you really first started off?
Southside, TM88, Jacob, and then was like the first really Southside and TM88, but Jacob came along probably like when I was like 15, 16. He became like an inspiration to my sound. Like all three of them, like they've been like my biggest inspiration my entire career. Like nowadays, I mean, it's like a Chi Chi, it's a Section 8, it's a Big Paps, like folks like that. Like Southside still there, TMA still there, but like it's other people now because it's like different producers and it's different sounds and just shit like that. But at that time, like Southside, TM88, DY, DY was going so crazy back then.
Yeah.
He was major, major, major.
Man, DY, yes. Shout out to all of them, man. Going DY, Cicero. There's so many of them just that have gone up. But yeah, I mean, this ATL Jacob run right now is crazy.
It's wow, shout out to my boy, bro. That boy, I always bump into him. It's always love. He a hard working man for sure.
Yeah, he's on one of the craziest producer runs I've seen since really working in the space 2016, 2017. It's been really crazy to see. But yeah, I mean, obviously you end up clicking up with Bro and you guys have countless records on the way, you know, classics out damn near. But I guess for you, like how does it all start off? Like where are you from? I feel like a lot of people don't know that. They assume you're from Memphis. How do you start producing? Like how does it all kind of kick off? When does when do you really take on true DrumGod form?
All right. So I mean, I really kicked off. I was I started like just the idea of wanting to make beats. But I was also like actually making beats, but like, you know, it was like just the idea. I started around 8ish. Crazy enough. Really, I don't believe. Like, I got real proof. I can send you a video, Carl. I got real proof. Like, I was like 9, like really making beats. But DrumGod didn't really come about until I got to like middle school. I want to say probably like when I was like 13 or something like that. I came with DrumGod. I really don't even know how DrumGod came about, to be honest. It just, one day I feel like I just said it and I just did it. That's just how I am, like shit. I feel like I just said it and I just meant it one day. That's how it came about. Okay. But I mean, before that, 13, I made a song for Jose Guapo. He was a big artist, I want to say around that time. I think that was like 2016, 2017, something like that. Yeah, like 2016, 2017. He was a major artist. He was on QC at the time. It had like 5-6 million views or something. I was 13. He gave me producer credits and everything. Like I was lit. I was going crazy. Like, then after that, 14, I had linked up with an A&R from 300 at the time. Oz Kohan, I want to say. Oz Kohan from 300. He was an A&R over there. And he had linked me with OMB Peasy. And I had produced 3 songs on OMB Peasy and Sherwood Marty's project. They had did a collab project back like 2017, 2018. I did 3 songs on there. I was 14 at the time. Then right after that, I just shifted right to bag after that.
Yeah. And it's really, you just kind of found your niche all through the internet. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
it's so interesting because a lot of people kind of, you know, they wait for someone to put them in the rooms, this and that, but you really got to start having that motion yourself before any of that can happen.
Yeah.
I guess like from the point that you end up really start locking them with bag, like you kind of, you know, spoke to a little bit of the backstory, but what's that very first session like? Like, where are you at? Do you fly somewhere? Do you guys meet somewhere? Like, what's that first session like? You nervous walking in? Like, what's kind of your mentality? What are you thinking?
I got through on the spot. Cause you gotta remember I was 14, so he just kind of threw me on the spot. Like, you know, he just wanted to see, like, all right, if I just call you right now and tell you come pull up, make a beat, like, is your 14-year-old ass gonna come up, pull up, make a beat for real?
Yeah.
Like, this sounded a little unbelievable at the time. And at the time, like, it wasn't that many. Like, when I was 13, 14, saying that, like, it was still, of course, like, it was a lot of others, but it wasn't just that popular for like our age to like be making beats, especially for major artists that weren't popular at that time. So he came to Cleveland August at some point. He had a show in Cleveland, 2018. And he told me at like 3 a.m, he called me like after the show. He brought me to the show and everything. I kicked it with him, went on stage with him, youngster Gotti. He introduced me to Gotti. Kicked it with them. I just got the vibe with them all night. Then I went back to the house. And they ended up calling me at like 3 a.m. And he was like, pull up to my hotel room with your equipment. I want to cook up. Like, I was like, all right. Like, so I got my daddy, I got my speakers. I'm talking about, I got some Yamaha HS5s. I'm carrying them with me, like, all the way downtown to the hotel room in Cleveland. Get up there. He was like, let's cook up. He gave me a vibe. I don't remember what the vibe was, but I remember the first thing I ever made with him was In Her Voice. It's a song out on Reset. I made that beat right there in his face. That was the first time like I got through on the spot, just right there. He was like, come up with something like this, or something like that. That's it. And that's how we came up with that song. He even, if I'm not mistaken, like he had like a piece of the hook. Like he was like singing a piece of the chorus when we was making the beat.
And that's what I was wondering too. Like, so you walk all the way there from the crib? Cause I'm like, at 14, how do you even get there at that point?
My daddy, I
Yeah,
woke my dad up, like, and my daddy, he always been a real, he been a firm believer in my career, like my whole life. Like he was a musician at one point. He sung, he wrote, he owned the studio. Like he had a lot of stuff going at one point. So he never gave out on the dream. And once he realized I picked up the dream, like that made him like he really believed in anything I did. And like when he realized other people, like he always believed in me off the strength, not even because I'm his son, but just because he heard some talent, I believe, you know. But once he started seeing like other people and like not even just locals no more, like out of towners and real important people, like really like loving his son music, like that made him want to go hard for me. Like we went hard together. Like that's my best friend. Like my dad is my best friend. My mom my best friend too though. My dad is my best friend.
are they familiar with like Bag and Bag's music and like that space back then? Like they knew who
Yeah.
it was?
Nah. See, my parents old. My parents too old. They ain't know. They ain't even know. My big brother knew who he was though. My
Yeah,
big brother, I got a big brother. He knew exactly who he was. He was like he major, like, and he like Bag was he was major at the time, but like he wasn't who he is right now. Like so, like my brother was like shit, like he gonna be like my brother was telling me like he gonna be who he is right now. That's the
right.
reason I spent from him.
Yeah, man, that's crazy too. Shout out to your pop, man. Like he's just waiting in the car, 5 in the morning, ready to see what's gonna happen. Like real deal. That's crazy. That's too crazy. Um, but yeah, it's insane to just see kind of like how many like twists and turns it's kind of like taken since then. But I mean, even now, like where are you at currently? Like I feel like a day in the life for you guys is just next level.
I mean, right now we in Miami. Uh, we at the studio per usual. Another day. Uh, Shit, we not supposed to even be here tomorrow. We supposed to be somewhere else tomorrow. You never know. Like you never know. Like this shit get crazy. It get hectic.
Yeah, how many like how much moving around are you really doing? Like it's city to city any given time, any given hour. Like you getting any sleep or you're just going, going, going?
I mean, I'm going. Uh, I'm getting sleep though. I'm getting rest. I mean, he got a lot of shows he doing. He got a lot of shows. He got a lot of backings. He got a lot of shows. So he, I get to catch up on sleep. 2-3 days a weekend sometimes, but for the most time we going. Shit. Sometimes when he going to these shows, we going to these cities with him and going to the studio after the show. Like,
Yeah.
shit, never know.
I was curious too, like especially in the beginning to like get on his radar, this or that or whatever. Obviously, the common denominator is kind of just to like send quality, super tough stuff. But like, I guess for you, um, like, did you have any strategies or whatever as far as like branding or marketing yourself on the internet back then to try to like have some traction that like, oh, so and so would notice you, or was it kind of like your beats were just you know another pack of beats in the bunch, but the quality just kind of spoke for itself?
I want to say it was just another pack in the bunch, but the quality spoke for itself.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I had a strategy. I mean, but to be honest, it couldn't have been that good because I don't remember it right now.
yeah,
I know I did. I always had a strategy like that. That's me. Like I always got a strategy of some form. I try to strategize. I always try to strategize. So I know I had a strategy at that time. But for me not to remember it, it couldn't have been that well. I don't think it was that well.
I had no type of strategy at all. Just going, going, going.
I the beast was good and the music was good. Oh shit, excuse me. The music was good and the quality was good. Like and the quantity, like I like not only did it sound good, but I kept like it was always some new beats there. I always like
Yeah,
every artist I ever worked with, like I always kept some new beats with them.
Yeah, well, I guess speaking to strategy, that's kind of a good question too. That I feel like a lot of up and coming producers, when you hit that next mark and the artist taps in or finally responds and like, tells you, he thinks your stuff is hard and you exchange numbers or he gives you the personal email, like there's no right or wrong answer, of course, but I guess for you, like, what do you think makes sense as far as like when to send, how often to send, how many to send at once? Like, I mean, I guess, using Bag as an example, like when you first got his number or personal email, like how are you thinking about it?
Uh, when I first got my first direct contact to Bag, I didn't I didn't want to go too hard, so I never really overdid nothing. I really only text him and let him know when I emailed him beats. I was emailing probably like 10 beats at a time at the time. I want to say, uh, like when he would ask for track outs, I would text him like Dropbox links. But I mean, until we really like started linking up and like coming together for like just not even music related things, but just regular functions was then we started just texting just regularly, like just regular conversation. But until then, like it was just strictly just music. If it wasn't music, I was just staying off his radar. Like I was just
Yeah, staying out the way. I feel like sometimes it could be either or. Like you could really try too hard to be like cool and friends with the person and not realize like it really is a business relationship at the end of the day.
yeah.
And you can do that and kind of like shoot yourself in the foot and like come off as too like eager, really just like weird. But at the same time also, there's something to it where it's like you don't want to make the other person feel like, damn, they just ask him for something all the time. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that probably brings us to a good point now with you is like, how are you kind of thinking of collabs? Because at this point, you're somebody who has more to offer than the person you're collabing with more oftentimes than not, seeing as you have direct access to a lot of really big things that are going on. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the loop game's getting kind of crazy right now. Like, are you using loops or a lot of people sending you loops? Like, what's your opinion on the whole thing?
Man, I listen to everybody loops. I go through my email every like 2-3 days. I always get probably like over 2-3 days. I probably get like 50, 60, 70 emails of loops. Like over 2-3 days span. So I'm always going through my email, but I usually stick to the people that I know, or like the people that I'm familiar with, or like names that I've saw in the business before. You know, like business friendly names. I try to like stay away from the just the people I really don't I'm not too familiar with. But at the same time, I always go and listen. It's people that I found that people aren't familiar with. So I'm not saying don't listen to the people that you ain't familiar with, but I'm saying like if you can stay to the people that like I try to stay to the people that I can have regular conversation with, that I can text like, you good, bro? Like what you doing? Like you straight? Like people I play the game with, like
Mhm.
things like that. People that I got a relationship almost outside of music, but it's still music related, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's the thing too. Like, it can be tough on one side of things because you start, using people's stuff who you're not familiar with. Something crazy could happen. Like, there's been a lot of different horror stories from using loops or this or that. But also, on the other hand, you do want to give that up and coming person a chance. So it's kind of just, a little bit
You
of
always
that.
wanna
Like,
my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, you
you
good.
do want to get you do want to always get up. I always do get up and come and producers a chance. I click on everybody email. Like if it's good, like if it's undeniable and you unfamiliar, I'm gonna reach out and make us familiar. I'm not gonna just pass up on you because I don't know you. But like if it's just average loops, like it normally it just be like a lot of like the loop game right now is full of like a lot of the same. Like everybody is like doing a lot of the same. Like even the different people is doing a lot of the same things. I mean, so I feel like at this point, like you just gotta lock in with your guys and you know the way I look at it, I got different guys for different type melodies. You know, like I got a certain producer who's good at bag type melodies. I got a certain producer who's good at dirt type melodies. I got a certain producer good at, if I want to do pop, I got a producer that's good at doing pop melodies. Like you just gotta have the certain people that you go to for certain things at this point that you are familiar with, and that's just how I look at it.
Yeah. No, that's exactly that. As far as like just you, like people sending you stuff, this and that, obviously you're probably listening to a lot of bag. Like what have you been listening to lately? Just moving around, like any up and coming artists you're excited about that you've been bumping, like, what's been in rotation lately for DrumGod?
It really been a ton of bag. I really just been trying to just perfect this album, man, and make sure it's like just you know what people used to, but not what people used to. You know, we just wanna shake everybody up a little bit.
No, most definitely. Give obviously you're somebody who's in the mix, working with the artist directly, moving around. You're in Miami right now, Exhibit A, but give somebody that big difference between like you're just sending beats, you might be working, the artist might text you like, yo, I need something crazy. I need, it's one single left for my album. Like I really need something crazy. But versus you right now, which is you're really locked in, like what's album mode like when you're really locked in, like what's the differences? What's like, I feel like that's like playoffs, you know what I mean? Like describe how it's like a different type of focus and lock in.
It's definitely a different. It requires a different type of focus and mental focus on yourself, and just like it definitely require a lot of. It require a lot of mental focus for sure. Like you gotta have a lot of mental stability to really be able to lock in and control your creativeness and how you use it and when you use it, and like, because you got to balance, like you might make a beat right now and you might be on the road, like, but shit, you made that beat and he started rapping to it, he ready to record now, so now you got to pause that. Like you might have like your juice might have been flowing, I might have went 10 beats, but now I got to pause because he finna record now. Like like it's ups and downs to it. Like I'm always the ups to it. It's more ups and downs for sure. I always get to know where he at mentally, like wherever he at mentally. Like if it's a good day, like if we up, we up. Like I might make some super up tempo music. Like sometimes we be shit. Some days we might not even want to be at the studio, but shit, we here. So some days like the music reflect it. Like just it's all different. It's new for me, so shit, it's still kind of hard to explain. Like, but it's like it's completely different from being at home and making beats and just sending them off. Like, because every artist don't even really like that. Some artists are really more hands-on with their music and how they want their music to sound, and really into like the beats and how they want their beats to sound and where they want their beats, how they want it organized, how they want it, like, so that's not always good with everybody.
No, it makes sense for sure. And also, like you said, there's like pros and cons to even just being able to be at the crib and be locked in, and you might have such a flow going that you can just feel like you can make 1,000 beats. But I guess, like you said, more pros than cons. Like it's probably interesting for you to be moving around like this. And I know, like you said, it's still kind of like not a first time thing, but it's not like
Yeah.
I'm doing it for years and years at the same time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, do you find yourself surprised at all? Like, I'm sure you're pulling inspiration from so many different things, like different vibes in this city to that city. You might hit them all like this day, that day. Like, is it interesting to just be pulling the inspiration and like how it comes out in the beats for so many different things?
That's definitely true. It's a lot of inspiration just from going, like I said, experiences. Like, it's definitely a lot of inspiration from that. That it definitely reflecting a lot of my beats. Like a lot of new music that you're gonna hear from me, and from Bag and from DrumGod in general, like, cause it's gonna be like this year, like y'all gonna hear me everywhere. Like this year, y'all gonna hear DrumGod everywhere, but it's gonna reflect in the music. Like you're gonna hear a lot of different vibes and like a lot of different, like you're gonna be like, damn, like where was he? What was he think? Like when you hear, you're gonna be like, what was he thinking when he made this? Like where was he? Like where was he at? Like damn, like it's a lot of that for sure. It definitely reflects in the music. It make a big difference from sitting at home, like once again. But at the same time, I got a gold plaque from a record I made on my kitchen table.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had like it's some producers who sent me beats and this and that, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Send it through to the artist, and obviously we're all like sending a lot of stuff out, and you know, it's not always like the highest success rate, but that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's really like when you look back on the year, like how many records was I able to be a part of, or this or that. It doesn't really matter how many shots you took; it's about how many shots you made. But it's funny because some of the ones like someone will tell me after the fact when the song comes out, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I made that in headphones or I made that in, and I'm like, damn, it's crazy, but you really never know what's gonna be that one until it's that time.
You don't. You really
Yeah.
don't.
But
Really.
obviously, bro's on the go like crazy. We appreciate it big time. Make sure everybody comments who they want to see next. In closing, I guess kind of like what's some advice 18-year-old current DrumGod, would give to, yourself growing up or whatever, like that 14-year-old, they're just the up and coming producers who are trying so bad to like get it to how you have it now, which is, really being locked in with someone to that type of level.
Continue your path, like that's what I would tell myself. Like, I always thought like the whole time I thought like I was doing like things wrong or like maybe like I should like follow what this person was doing. Like I was never like I never wanted to be the YouTube producer. But when I saw how successful TNC was, that was like an inspiration for me. I was like, bro, I want to do YouTube. Like, but then I had to come back like, nah, that ain't. I didn't even want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, just because he was doing that, that don't mean that I'm gonna have that same success path. Like through that route. Like I might have, like the same way I made it. Like I might not have made it that route. That might not have been the route for me. Like follow your route. Like trust your route. Like if you believe you should do something, follow your route. Like I always follow your route. Don't try to follow the pathway of what you saw somebody else do, because shit, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. No, that's really good advice too. And I always kind of say like, definitely just in that same vein, like stay on your path. Like every day, if you do something to get a lot closer, like a major accomplishment happens, or if you just do something to get a little closer, like that day is a win for sure.
It's a win, regardless. No matter how small or big the accomplishment is, it's an accomplishment for sure. That's
The day
something.
is a win. But DrumGod, we appreciate it big time. The producer room, powered by producer culture. Make sure everyone comments who they want to see next. And you just might get it like DrumGod on the road. It's time to make it happen.
So yeah, appreciate y'all. Yeah.